Yo, 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 yo. Okay, enough, dude. Hey, you gonna do it? All right. All right, put your tongue in your mouth. Okay, go play. Matter of fact, go to your room for a minute. Because I know you like to interrupt. Yo, I jumped on here. It's gonna be cool. I'm gonna not be that long, but I jumped on for a minute. Dude, get out of here.
Wow, this is cool.
This is what I gotta deal with, man. But but I jumped on here for a minute because I do want to address a few things, right?
Yo, yo, yo. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude, go to your room, man. See, that's what happened when you got bad breedings. But this is it. Go, man, because you're going to interrupt the whole time. I'm getting nothing done. It's an understanding. It's a big misunderstanding in this community. And I don't even think it's a misunderstanding. But I'll say this. Whatever's going on between y'all and Ramos, like I say, settle it in the ring. And I'll start off by saying that so we address that. Y'all like to argue with my man Ramos, and he like to give it to y'all. So it is what it is. When I tell you one thing, when we were under the most scrutiny ever coming out of our first show, which was Rhode Island show, he came to the show with the dog, and I will honestly say this. The pictures of the dog are not good. The dog is a lot bigger than what he looks in pictures. Now, does he borderline classic, borderline standard? It depends on your opinion. He has the size of a standard. He could definitely rock with the standards. And I'm giving honest critique here. He could have a bullier head. Now, as far as overall structure, stop, man. As far as overall structure, the dog had very nice structure. And actually, if I believe the way the show went, he got through, very strong under myself and under John. The dog is just a nice dog. Pretty hot though. He's a hot dog too. But I tell y'all this, and this is something that'll be different. And I'm not here to impress most of these people. I know we have our ABKC heads that want to argue everything. We got people now who say that they know more than about the American Bully than John Easterly and myself. But I roll with that, you know what I mean? We didn't do shit but just help start the fucking breed and write standards and everything else. But we don't know anything. But I'll tell you this is the biggest misconception you will have with the American Bully breed. I'm not being overly critical. Hear me when I tell y'all this. I'm not being overly critical. I'm telling y'all the truth. Yeah, BJ, how much for the best in breed? Nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about one of them ABKC judges getting dismissed from a show for taking bribes and shit. But, whatever. But we ain't going to talk about that. They always want to throw up the ABKC. Hey, I'm proud that I helped start the ABKC once upon a time, but it didn't turn out to be what it was supposed to be. What's going on, Keith? Now, I tell you this. One of the adaptations that those who will be coming to show in the TBKC is going to have to make is that we don't deal with structural issues. And those who've seen the first show, you'll understand this. Hey, Zeus, what's going on, my brother? We don't deal with it. None of our judges will deal with structural issues. And one of the reasons that this whole thing came about is because we were very strict on structural issues. I'm not just a bully person, you know what I mean? I'm an enthusiast of many dogs, you know what I mean? Whether it's the Irish, I won't name all these dogs, but the Clumber Spaniel and all these great dogs, the Pharaoh Hound, a bunch of beautiful dogs, And I've had the privilege in some of the countries that I've judged in to see some top-notch dogs, some dogs that actually competed in Westminster. And I've talked to some incredible judges, I've talked to actually a couple judges that have judged Westminster and handlers who've shown Westminster, and I've people who travel around the world. I know handlers from South Africa who, take off literally around the world. And one of the biggest problems with the American Bully breed, and I think it's the dumbing down of our breed, what's going on, Adam, is that we believe that your dog is a great champion because you like the way it looks. The only way that your dog can ever be considered a great champion is if it has a very great structure. And one of the things I would tell y'all is a lot of people are, hey, what's going on, Andrea? One of the things that a lot of people will that y'all have to get over this hump and understand is that high rears are not supposed to be grand champion dogs. A bad top line is not supposed to be a grand champion dog. You know, a kink tail is not supposed to be a grand champion dog. Listen to this dude. Boy, be quiet. This is the stuff I deal with. Be quiet, man. give me a couple minutes. I love my kids, but I want to beat them. But this is a true thing that has to be a transformation in the American bully community. Is that we have to get a clear understanding that our dogs are subpar. And I'm not going to name every single dog, but I'm going to tell y'all the truth of the matter is, and this is not being overly critical, 90%, and I'm being realistic, 90% of the dogs that are American Bully champions / grand champion dogs today would not be able to compete in most serious registries. This is the truth. I'm being realistic with y'all. All the dogs that y'all brag about, grand champion this, grand champion that, they would not be able to compete in real registries. They wouldn't. The ABKC has made it to the point where, in some of the registries that follow, where we have like some kind of weird secondary culture to where your dog can be fucked up, but not that fucked up. Max, quiet. And by what's going on, Regis? By creating this culture, we believe that our dogs are great when they're not great. This is the truth of the matter, is that when I was in Colombia, now y'all heard me talk about Colombia a lot of the times. I'm going to be honest with you. These dogs is down, Clint. These dogs the dogs y'all called grand champions couldn't have gotten in the ring. The dogs that were American Bully champions there were very, very, very conformationally sound. They put these dogs against the Pharaoh Hound, was one of the dogs that was there that day. It was a Bordeaux that was there that day. But it was some very stiff competition, and these were dogs that were competing on a world scale. This was a big show, 6,000 people. And it opened my eyes even more to the fact of how far we are behind. I'm promising y'all, I'm not trying to bash anybody's dog. I don't have stock in anybody's dog. But you know, the truth of the matter is that these dogs should never, you know what I mean? Hey, Nikki, and that's admirable. That's admirable. You know, that's a real dog, man, right there. You know, we got to judge our own stuff harder than they're gonna judge. You know, so the thing of it is hey, I inboxed you my number, Dave. But yeah, I posted it up a couple times. But yeah, the truth of the matter is that we really, really, really have to, dude, be cool. We have to get back to the point to where we totally understand what the dogs are about. Our dogs are not going to be able to compete at a world level at all. Our dogs are not going to be able to compete anywhere. I mean, literally, y'all talk about these dogs that y'all bragging about. You know, you got to pose them in grass. You got to twist their feet. You got to do all these different things, teach them to squat, do all these. They couldn't compete in a real dog arena at all. You know? Do I feel that past nationals was judged fair? A few of them. I think the earlier ones was judged more fair. And I think, honestly, most nationals have been judged fair. I think if it was one that I had a problem with, it was the one, and I said that, so I don't have a problem. What's going on, Will? I don't have a problem saying that. I think it was the Chicago Nationals. You know, that I think that was it was just like you let a dog that was a quality dog once upon a time, but basically come off the couch, not in show condition, and beat. It was bad. It was bad. I'm gonna tell you. To see the bear at that Chicago show, to see the bear should have probably, well, it was two dogs there. I forget the other dog's name, but it was a couple dogs that was a lot better, you know, at that time. And to see those dogs robbed like that, it caused a trickle down effect. A lot of people were upset about that. a lot of people were very, very upset about that show, and it just didn't, it just didn't. It was bad. Now, some of the other ones, I think, the show, the Sweet and Low one, it was that was one that you could have went either way between her and Ruger. I think the New Orleans show, I would have went with Mufasa, but so I guess, but see, at the same time, I don't think that it was like horrible missteps on a lot of the nationals. I think, I think the only one was the one in Chicago where that went sort of bad at, but outside of that, I think most of the nationals have been judged pretty even keel, and I think it's one of the reasons why certain dogs have never won nationals. They always put their best foot forward at nationals to try to pick, a dog that's going to represent the breed on a national spotlight. I think the nationals haven't been as much of a problem as the other shows. It's the shows that are done in the dark where the bosses are not in the building and there's not a lot of spotlight on there. It's one of those things that, of course, at national everybody sees. So you want to pick something that's going to make you, at least feel better about, this is our representative. But we have to ask the question as to how do you go to a show and you have 75 champions, your 50 grand champions. And then as we look at the quality of the dogs as grand champions, I mean, I'm not going to lie to y'all. It was very disappointing, and that's where we sort of got to this point, and that's where a lot of this beef starts at. You look at a grand champion class, and you're seeing a bunch of weak-ass rears, a bunch of high rears. You're seeing splayed and twisted feet, the whole easty-westy thing. We're seeing now kink tails and badly kink tails. We're seeing dogs that don't want to perform, but this is your grand champion class. Is something wrong with that? I would much rather see more ribbons just being pulled and make the grand champion class something that is a very, very prestigious class. To when you look at, especially a grand champion, this is supposed to be the creme de la creme. This is supposed to be the best of the best. This is supposed to be pick whichever one you want, and this dog can go anywhere in the world and represent as a great, great, example of what the breed is. And when you can take dogs that are obviously not great standards, and we have to explain away things like the high rears and the kink tails and the bad feet, the bad top lines, and even worst case scenario, bad temperament in some of these things. That means we're not doing this breed, sir. Go to your room because you're loud. But that means we're not doing the breed any justice. You better go. But and how can we do the breed any justice if we continue to have over and over again the same type of excuses, the same type of things? People got mad at me. I don't have a personal beef. I don't know certain owners personally, but when I bring up the fact that your dog is like locking up and needs ice packs, has a high rear, and I'm pointing out flaws, just basic flaws, and wondering why your dog is winning and beating dogs that are obviously better, now you're a hater. No, the truth of the matter is we've created a subculture to where it's all about clicks and popularity and not about the actual dog that is being presented in front of you. This is where we have our biggest problem at. We are not seeing dogs that are of a top quality nature. We're not seeing dogs. I don't look for American bullies that can compete against these subpar American bullies. I'm honestly looking for American bullies that can compete against Dobermans, that can compete against, the highest quality of dog from any breed, That's what we're looking for, and we want to get that to that point. The way we're going right now to where we feel big is everything, and we see obvious issues, and then we won't even be honest as a community, to even DNA test our dogs to make sure that their lineage is correct. D-line. This thing is going to be crazy.
D-line.
Really, sir?
D-line.
But you were supposed to be in the room.
D-line.
D-line. Okay, say it one more time and then get out of here.
D-line.
All right, you're out of here. he badly wanted to say his D-line, so he got it in. But we have to do better overall. And everybody's taking this personal. It's not a personal thing. It's not a personal thing at all, man. It's simply about picking the best dog. If the breed's going to survive, We have to pick the best dog. Some days, I promise y'all, it's going to be days we go to a show and no dog wins. We might not have, a best in breed for the American Bully, and that's fine. I have no problem with my judges pulling a ribbon and saying, you know what, nobody is worth a championship today. That's fine, because that's using the proper discretion. We don't live in a society where we shouldn't live in a society where people are owed a pat on the back or need to be coddled. If your dog is not up to par, I expect my judges to go through and put that ribbon in your pocket, and we'll save it for another day. And I think John, I guess I can pat myself on the back. Myself and John, we led off the attack with that, because every show, we were withholding ribbons. We actually excused several dogs from the ring. It's not to be malicious. It's not to show anybody up. This is not what we're doing. What we're doing is we're cleaning up the breed. Like I say, I don't want to get into these personal arguments, because if you point out something about certain people's dogs, but y'all look through the breed and you get side shots and you get video of these dogs. Y'all see the live feeds from all these shows. And
I want D-line again.
okay, last time.
D-line, 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 D-line.
Okay, get
D-line, D-line.
stop acting like an exotic. Get out of here. But, all of these things, just have to be corrected. We seeing more and more issues that we're seeing more and more issues that are going to destroy this breed. I mean, bottom line, I'm telling y'all from an outsider's point of view, in this struggle to try to get everything together with this, he had no participation trophies for real. I don't even allow the kids to get participation trophies. But, Andrea, I hope it's an onslaught of withholding. I hope everybody just goes crazy and withhold everything that we can, because most of these dogs just don't deserve to win. And I know people get in their feelings. Some of them are pets and different things. But most of these dogs just don't deserve to win. We see good dogs getting cast out of the ring because he's a nice dog, but he's not super bulldoggy. And then you'll let a dog with 32 flaws win because he's got a lot of mass. It's bullshit and it's nonsense, and it set our breed back. And I'm going to tell y'all just this, and I've mentioned this before, but throughout all of these hurdles of trying to get this registry going and dealing with sponsorship and, spending my life away, I'll tell you, a lot of sponsors look at us as a very, very, what's going on, Ruben? A very, 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 oh man, for real. Hey, Mr. Garrett, that's always possible. I'm getting settled in here. You know what I mean? Hey, Dave, that boy is crazy, man. That boy is crazy. But we have to get back to a point where good dogs are where it's at, man. We don't have to make no excuses. And a lot, like we've told y'all before, a lot of people are just not, the TBKC will not be for y'all. It's just that simple. Right now, we finally got everything going, paperwork and all that stuff. And, the show in Jersey is October 19th. We got a show right back here in Florida. Well, not here in Florida. I'm in Texas now. But, Henry crazy, but we right now it's up to 15 shows that it'll be either later on tonight or tomorrow. We'll be up to 15 shows that we got planned out, and we starting to make some progress. We got to get to the Midwest. What's going on, Bobo? But LA is still in the works. We got a guy over there trying to get something together before. I just don't want to go past mid-November. That's sort of like a break area for us for shows from there to the first of the year. I don't know if y'all ever did dog shows like during the holiday season. They suck, but they suck. But definitely we getting to the Midwest. That's home. I got Bobo sent me some stuff. I got in plenty of the other places, but because we were on the hold, it made it bad. But Ruben, you talk about favoritism, and I'm going to get into that, and I'm waiting, man. They're supposed to be installing my home phone so we can get back on this radio show, because it's amazing that ain't nobody talking about judges getting axed, pretty much dismissed from their own shows for they outside activities. It's proven, and I told y'all this was going on. Many people have told y'all this was going on, and this is the reason why some of these screwed up dogs are doing it. Well, hey, Mr. Garrett, you know you got to be there, you know. Oh, I tell you the truth, Mark. If the dog meets the standard but has a non-desired pedigree, that dog is gone too, because it goes back to the conversation of genotype, phenotype, which I think is one of the silliest conversations. Old dog, man, we laugh. Well, I'm gonna say we, but the guys who taught me, they would laugh at the conversation of genotype, phenotype, because that's something to try to make you sound smart. Because the truth of the matter is if you're breeding dogs, you're doing both anyway. You're always going to look at the dog that's in front of you. And that's where you start at. Is this a beautiful animal? Does it have all the structural issues and everything that I want to see from this dog physically? Then next, you go to the pedigree to make sure that these attributes are reading out in the pedigree, or you're not getting a Shar-Pei or or Malamute or some shit coming through. Or maybe, like I spoke with a guy the other day, and I had to sort of tell him, excuse me, I don't know what the heck, but I had to sort of tell him about a pedigree where he had a pretty stacked pedigree, but it was a ton of Dax and it was a ton of Remy. And he was like, but the Remy, because it's a clean dog, will balance out the Dax. But he didn't know what I know and what a lot of other people know, that Dax's father blew a ruckus. Not Dax, I'm sorry, Remy's father had terrible hips. He had terrible hips and he was mean as shit. But when you put those hips and you combine the evident hip issues that came along with Dax, you don't want a pedigree that's basically 80% of these dogs. And that, and that's what you was going to mark with the pedigree. That's another thing that you have to eliminate. And trust me, as we go further into our DNA process, a lot of dogs are going to be eliminated just basically off of their owners being dickheads and cheating the game like they do. Because the steroid dogs, we know that most of their offspring are not their dogs. When they start coming through the registry and they start failing a lot of different tests, then we're going to have to pull papers on them. There are other dogs that, we see different things with and different accusations with. As those dogs get red flagged more and more, we're going to have to eliminate them. And I know, to some people it's like, oh man, they trying to be assholes. No, we're trying to clean it up, because this thing of you can mix in anything you want to, hide anything you want to, lie about anything you want to. We can't have that. Another feature that we're introducing, and I hope I'll have the forms for that in about 2 weeks, is you're going to be able to register your kennel name so nobody can take your kennel name. We want accurate production records. So say, for instance, you are getting a blue dog special kennels, I don't know. But if that's the kennel that you're supposed to be getting these dogs from, no one else can put your kennel name on that dog. We seen that, and it's not, I'm just being honest with you, but a lot of people have mass confusion in our community just about, you know what I mean? Absolutely, Andrew, I agree with that. A lot of people have confusion about what dogs, like everybody thinks that Razor's Edge dog is Razor's Edge dog. I'll Max, quiet. I'll show y'all a post, just the other day where Dave put up a post talking about it's all about productions. And he had a picture of Demon Boy, and, and he put Razor's Edge Demon Boy in front of there. And the truth of the matter is Dave knows it, but it's a part of the lie. Demon Boy is not a Razor's Edge dog. Nothing about him is Razor's Edge. Sean Jackson produced the dog. The semen came from Bashar. Dave, basically got the dog on on a putback, and where him and Bashar and this other guy own the dog. It's not a Razor's Edge dog. But to newbies who are going to come in, they will start to believe that type of shit. We ain't gonna even start with Sharkline. Sharkline made everything. But that's one of the biggest examples of it. But it continuously happens to where people are taking different people's kennel names, putting different names on there. And it's just like, you lie on the paper, you lie on the DNA test. Now, we got judges that get paid to lie in the ring. And the ultimate product that we get from all these lies and all this bullshit and nonsense is bad dogs. The thing that cannot be denied is that the health of these dogs has deteriorated. The quality of these dogs have deteriorated. Trust me, I have one of those big $2,000 cameras in my room too. And you can take beautiful pictures, and you can make a frog look like a dove and all these great things through Photoshop. But what most of y'all are seeing is not the real thing. The footage from the shows when y'all see the dogs wobbling and you see those long ass backs and they're slanted down towards the shoulders, that is your reality. You know, when you, I mean, that's your reality. This is why most kennels, most super dogs don't like video. They don't like video because video tells you the true story. You can't pose this dog up. They'll show you a video of the dog standing, but if you ask them to put that dog in motion, they'll disappear. And the reason they'll disappear is because, as you know, Andrea is a judge, you know, and she can tell you very simply is that once the dog goes in motion, everything falls apart. All of that extra stacking, all of that squatting the dog down. Once in motion, everything falls apart. Shit. If you don't believe me, it works with the human body. No matter how you contort, tuck, this, that, and the other, you start running around. Shit gonna start to jiggling. Shit gonna start to moving. You gonna start to see some things. This is the way it goes. This is why it's important to see a dog in motion, and it's important for every judge to really start eliminating these dogs. It does not take a long time, people. People are like, oh, you can destroy the breed. The breed is destroyed already. What needs to happen is a correction to start eliminating these subpar dogs. You can honestly, I mean, there are enough good dogs that we can push the breed forward and get it back on track in a 5 to 6 year span. But if we're going to continually lie over and over again about the quality of dogs and have runs like Mr. Beans, who was a freaking steroided up toad and everybody knew it, but because, you know, the ABKC and a lot of these other dick riders were scared of his owner or scared to talk bad about him, y'all allowed this shit when the dog was locking up and needing oxygen and needing ice, and y'all was still going along with this. But when the pictures came out, everybody was all shocked. Like, why would they take a picture of him being iced down, and why was this, and why are y'all showing his rear like that? Y'all mad at the wrong thing. Y'all should be mad that this shit is allowed in the ring. Y'all should be mad that a dog that's obviously on a ton of steroids is shipping out semen every other week, and it's internationally known that you can't be on heavy steroids and produce semen. So as I said, now we put that challenge out there a long time ago. All of you Mr. Beans offspring, do y'all really want to prove that your $10, $15, $20, $25,000 dog is who you say he is? I guarantee you don't. I'm not here to hate on anybody. I'm here to state facts about a breed that I care about. And I guess sometimes facts ruffle feathers. Oh, greetings from Belgium. How you doing? I do not want to mess up your name, so I'm just going to go with the Kurt. But this is the truth. I give you, yeah, he had ice poisoning, Andrew. You know what I mean? I mean, literally, this is ice baby for real. This is what it is. And I've told y'all this. If you new to this page or new to my page, I'm going to tell you the thing about it is everybody wonder what happened. And that's basically sustanon poisoning. It's an abundance of red blood cells. Real bodybuilders and stuff, when they're on steroid cycles, what they'll tend to do is they'll tend to get blood drawn every 4 to 8 weeks or whatever, because steroids typically will make will make you produce an exorbitant amount of red blood cells. Other things do it, like cancers and different things like that, and some people produce it naturally, like myself. But steroids does do that, and what happens is when you have way too many red blood cells, the muscle fills up. It feels like a pump. And it stings. It hurts. You know what I mean? If anybody who's ever worked out or if you ever ran too long, it hurts. The muscle is full with blood. All those cells are rushing to those muscles. So by him just walking, it would fill up. And that's why he was locking up in the ring like that. So, of course, with ice takes down the inflammation. That's why they were icing him. That's why in the middle of shows, they would put capes over him. And the saddest part about this is, don't y'all believe for 1 second at all that the ABKC didn't know about it. Many people complained about it. Many people talked about it. And when you have a guy who's touring around with Dave and doing different things, oh, Mark, don't tell them about that Winstrol. They might get some ideas. They was using Sustanon, but don't tell them about that Winstrol. They might get some ideas, man. Don't tell them about that. They might get some ideas. The Winstrol make you more cut too. But this is something that's why we said we're going to be on deck and ready to steroid test a lot, Oh, I appreciate that, Kurt, man. I'm looking forward to getting over to Belgium. We done had a few calls from that region, and it's just about lining some things up. But we got to do it. Oh yeah, we cannot forget about them little tiny nuts. Yeah, them nuts was. This is all bad, man. It's really, really all bad. My sister Kelly, love you, lady. Except for when the Golden State Warriors play. But the B12. You know what? The B12 was always a lie. We always knew when we used to hear them dudes talk about B12. I ain't gonna say too much because I might get indicted with their asses. But I used to shoot the dogs up with what they was talking about was B12, and come to find out it was a fucking cattle steroid that you were supposed to shoot the dog with once every 3 weeks, and you could only shoot the dog twice. That's why. That's why. I tell y'all, and without saying too much, but that's why several of the dogs who were paraded as great dogs in the past never had puppies. And, and that was including a lot of the females never had one puppy. They was juiced up. That's how they got that size. Several of those dogs were shipped overseas. Y'all heard the stories about that. Once the dogs got there, the dogs deflated. The cat down in Florida, Lou, he bought the one dog, man. The dog looked like Hercules. He got the dog there. By the time, about 2 or 3 weeks later, the dog had deflated down to Snoopy. You know what I mean? So Kelly, he's somewhere around. I think he outside chasing that girl. He stay up to no good. He running around here chasing somewhere. Yeah, he doing good though. He out there enjoying the Texas mosquitoes is what he out there doing. But a lot of these things, I know it's going to come off as negative, but as we get more uniformed and we get more things in line and it becomes more of a way of life, hopefully it'll get better, Andrea said, damn, I got kicked off. But I'm going to jump off here because Poop is going crazy, and I know he wants to watch TV, so I'm going to line that up with him. But things are going better. I give y'all updates on shows, and thank y'all for your patience. Hopefully y'all getting these paperworks in the mail and everybody's catching up. I expect no longer than 2 weeks we'll be fully caught up, So, man, before I go, if tbkcdogs@gmail.com. Love you, Clint. That dude's silly as hell. But tbkcdogs@gmail.com. We doing a lot of in-house cleaning up, outhouse cleaning up, all that. But what we need in your area, I do have sponsors that want to sponsor shows. That's basically what they sponsor. They want to sponsor shows. If you have good places in your area for shows, send those over to the TBKC tbkcdogs@gmail.com so we can look into some of these places and present them to the sponsors and see if maybe these are some of the places that they would like to be a part of. But we want to get more shows out there. Right now I said we at the 15 mark, and I think it's going to go up very soon if I can ever get certain places to respond back to me. But until next time, man, it's the weekend. I want to tell y'all, man, I told y'all the other day I had a young lady that I got close to, a while ago, that she ended up, unfortunately, being around the wrong people and got shot in the head and killed. And that was a week or so ago, 14 years old. It was pitiful. Hey, you settle down. You was supposed to be over there. And hey, quiet. But, and then, we turn around and last night a good friend of mine that I've known since middle school, I got a call in the middle of the night. Stop, boy. And unfortunately, same thing happened to him at a club, and that I tell you, take life for what it is because it's a short, ugly thing, It's almost bad. I mean, it ain't almost bad. It's horrible that within, a week's time, I lose 2 people that I really did care about. And I tell you one thing, y'all, we argue and we bicker about bullshit a lot, but sometimes you need to put life in perspective and understand that a whole lot of things is more important than being nasty and arguing about things that ultimately won't matter. I tell you what, it would break my heart if I ever heard that anything happened to all of y'all, especially the people that I know and talk to, man. So let's learn to appreciate each other a little more. We don't have to go at each other's necks just because we disagree about dogs. This process will work its way out one way or the other, but humanity is lacking. Humanity is lacking at a very, very high degree. And to be honest, y'all, man, we got to get better. We got to be better people. I would say F the dogs in one thing. When y'all know I love the dogs, but when it come to people, the dogs don't matter. And as you know, we got to be better human beings, man. Too many of y'all, just acting a damn fool about nothing, man. Life is short, man. I mean, believe it or not, I sit there, and that was my morning. I said, now the baby's up. But I sat there and I really thought about that. I said, there's a 14-year-old girl going to a party thinking she's having a good time, and some idiot decides that he's got a beef with her ride and shoots into the car, and her life is gone. Sweet-ass little girl. She actually stayed with us for a year. And
D-line.
And then, my friend who's been a lifelong, really damn near a lifelong friend. I've known him since I was 10 years old. He's doing his job. And once again, some idiot decides that he wants to stop Max. So, decides that he wants to shoot into a crowd and whatever they did. One person got shot in the leg. Unfortunately for Jason, another headshot and life is over. And you really have to just put shit in perspective, man. Every day we go after each other so crazy, you know what I mean? We go after each other so crazy about the smallest things, not understanding that the same people you arguing with today, tomorrow you could regret that shit because it wasn't that serious, So with that being said, man, y'all show some love. Let's get this dog community together. Hug your loved ones, love your kids, have a good weekend. God bless y'all, and as always, go Browns!